thank you guys. Quick one about me, guys, just to get started. I'm obviously Irish. Hey, anyone from Ireland here? One person. Where are you from, mate? Where are you from? Dublin, good. I'm from a place in Ireland called Limerick, right? It's a rough town, right? Tough city's got a very bad name, Limerick, and not without reason. For example, Limerick was the 2009 murder capital of Europe. I mean, we should probably take that sign down. You know what I mean? It was fine at the start, like, I was like, passing orders. You know what I mean? Like, we need to dream again. Right, I'll tell you what Limerick is like. The secondary school I went to, my first year intake, more people went to prison than ended up in university. I'm not even making that up, right? 5 people from my first year intake are now in jail for crimes related to murder. Related to murder, though. What's that? They didn't do the shooting, but they were there. Murder wouldn't have happened without them. But yeah, like, I mean, it was a rough city. Drugs were a big thing, and heroin was quite a scourge in Limerick when I was young. And a lot of my friends got involved in that, selling it, taking it. It was all bad. But I never got involved in it. I kept my nose clean, and I actually studied hard at university. I got a degree in sociology. And not a day goes by where I don't regret not selling drugs. Way better career choice. Jeez, drugs is where the money was. Jeez. I don't know about you, but I like to read the paper when I went to work in the morning, so I make the commute go a little bit quicker. And I read an article recently that said that British and Irish teenagers have the worst levels of underage problem drinking in Europe. And I couldn't help but think that that's just a matter of perspective. Do you know what I mean? You could just as easily have said that they have the best levels of underage problem drinking. If there was an underage problem drinking Premier League, we'd be winning it. Number 1 equals best, guys. Kids need positive reinforcement. So, the real problem I found with that article, the title was the term problem drinking, right? That's a subjective term, right? Who in the mountain deciding what problem drinking is? Like, you might say problem drinker, I might say bit of a legend. Do you know what I mean? Matter of perspective. You might say, like, James went out last night, drank an entire bottle of whiskey, he's got a problem, we need to help him. I might say, James went out last night and necked an entire bottle of whiskey like a fucking lad. Probably don't get going until James gets there, you know? But guys, like no matter perspective, English language is an interesting thing. I mean, you've all heard the phrase, things happen for a reason, right? Things happen for a reason. It's quite a common phrase, right? Does anyone think it's the dumbest fucking phrase in the English language? I mean, 1, things happen for a reason. Yeah, that's how things work. You know what I mean? Nothing just randomly happens. Things happen for a reason. Chain of events, if you will. You know? But my real problem with that phrase is this: like, have you people been broken up with here, and you know it hurts, right? You know, and you break up with someone, and your friends say, "Hey, don't worry about it. Things happen for a reason." Hey, she wasn't for you, man. Things happen for a reason. You know? I'm like, because it happened to me recently. Like a few months back, a girl broke up with me, and you know, it hurt. You know, like I'm not made out of stone. You know, except for my abs. Am I right? Come on, come on, let's do it all night. Boom, yes, yes. I'm very low self-esteem, guys. I needed that. Thank you. I was hurting, right? And my friend saw me. And he was like, Cathal, you know, don't worry about it, mate. These things, they happen for a reason. And I was like, well, yeah. But like the reason in this case was she fucked my mate when I was in Spain. You know what I mean? It's a reason. It's a good reason, but you're not helping me, Jim. You're not helping. that high five hurt more than I wanted. I actually broke my rib at the weekend, a true story. I went back playing rugby after 10 years for fun. And I'm not going to bore you with this story, but like I got hit with a tackle so late. I mean, to the non-rugby people don't make me explain it was the last time someone got that close to me and was that late, she needed a pregnancy test. You know what I mean? It was a fucking late. That's just a late tackle. I'm sorry. I'm not in pain, guys. But guys, I wasn't always single. I used to live in America and I used to date. This is a true story. I'm not making any stuff. I used to date a midget, right? And it's the truth. I'm not making this isn't like some funny, hilarious 70s joke, okay? But I went on my first date with her. and she said to me, technically I'm a midget. And I'm not a very cultured man. No one with this facial hair ever is. And she said, I didn't know what she meant. And here, I know now. By the way, that's all a midget means. Someone below a certain threshold of height, right? If you're below 4'10" in America, you're a midget. She was 4'9". That's all it meant, right? But I didn't know that. So she said to me, technically, I'm a midget. And I was like, oh, so you're like a magical person. You can see very far and live a long time. I see. Elves. I was thinking of elves. Completely different race of people. Completely different race. It was embarrassing. But a lot of people ask the question, what's the difference between the term midget and the term dwarf? You're all educated people, you already know this. Some of you might be thinking, is one a pejorative term that you shouldn't use? Are they the same? Is there a difference? I'll tell you. Midget, like I said, someone below a certain threshold of height. And dwarves are a mountainous race of people who mine gold. Strong with spear and shield. So, you're welcome, now you know. But guys, that got actually, like I said, I was living in America at the time. I spent my first few years of my 20s living in America, in New York. And I don't know if you know this, I don't want to get too crude or anything, but like most men in America are circumcised, right? And I'm not, I'm Irish, we don't really get circumcised. So the very rare occasion, and I mean biblically rare occasions, I ever got a girl back to my apartment, sometimes they'd see it and they'd be a bit taken aback by it, because they weren't used to it. They're not used to seeing it au natural, free range. They weren't used to seeing it. But like I said, it was never like a deal breaker, it was never a big deal, because whilst, there might have been a bit more skin on top, the other 9 inches, they were fine. There's a lad right there, he's willing to do it. Okay, you're a terrible human being for doing that, by the way. Terrible. But I used to ask my friends in America, my American friends, like, why'd you get it done? Obviously I understand why Jewish people and Muslim people get circumcised. It's a cultural thing going back hundreds if not thousands of years, I understand that. But as everyone else that got it, I couldn't really get it, like. And I asked them, well, why'd you get it done? And there's no good reason to get it done other than like medical reasons, but they have to make up some reason. So they'd say things like, well, it can get a bit, it's a hygiene thing. It can get a bit dirty underneath there, And I'm like, well, yeah, it can get dirt underneath your fingernails too, but don't rip them off babies. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we have shower gel, we've got soap, we're fine. We can deal with this, you know what I mean? Could you imagine if like that was the thing? Imagine if it was fingernails, Imagine it was fingernails, and like some person walked in after your son is born and is like, that's a beautiful baby boy you got there, missus. What's his name? Ah yeah, after his dad. I'll get the pliers. Don't worry about it, babies don't feel a thing. Babies cry all the time. Yeah, it would be crazy if it happened, wouldn't it? But like, geez, Gary, can't help but notice that you surgically removed the top of your skin from your child's forehead. Well, didn't want him getting dandruff. Do you know what I mean? You'd have to buy shampoo twice a month. Fuck that. That's a bit dark, guys. That's a bit weird. I'll finish with something nicer, something lighter, okay? Finish with a song, okay? Irish people, very musical people, okay? Any Adele fans in? Okay, you're all lying, okay? Everyone's an Adele fan. Yes, thank you. She had that famous song, didn't she? Hello from the other side. You like this one, don't you? You must have called 1,000 times. Sure, no wonder he fucking left you 1,000 times, Adele. Gee, that's harassment. Leave him alone. He's seen you've called. Jeez. Unbelievable. To tell you, I'm sorry for all the pain that I've caused. But when I called you, you never seemed to be home. Never seemed to be home. Is she calling his landline? Do you remember house phones? Do you remember the 90s? She's lying to you guys. She's lying to you through rhyme. Thank you very much, guys. I'm Cathal Riordan.